They finance the wars everywhere in Africa. And they don't want us to farm. They don't want us to do agriculture. We are not poor. We are not poor. But they put in our minds that we are poor. You are the poor. And we kick you outside. And we will never get you back in our country. There's no other choice. Down on our enemies. Down on our enemies. Down on our enemies. The path that our leaders of the Sahel Alliance are undertaking is the placing path. And this is for the survival of our countries. Because the bad democracy that is installed in our countries for 30 years, this is fake. There is nothing good. The children are being burned in the schools. We don't have drinkable water, we don't have energy, we don't have electricity. We do not have our own currency, whereas we do have gold reserves. We know that France have the 4th gold reserve in the world, but they do not have gold mine in their lands. Down on France and down on our enemies. Please let us be united. And we are ready for this struggle. Up to the last person and our brothers, those who are next to us in the neighboring countries. We have democracy in many countries, and what do they have in return? Let's think about what are they having today. What do we live in? Our living conditions, the quality of our life. Many of us did not know Kunche and Jori Hamani, and when people speak, they say Kunche, Kunche. But I was surprised when I hear that. I am surprised because even these current leaders should be blessed and thanked. You know why? Because they understand that we have approvals with the imperialists, but they denounce those approvals. And they denounce those approvals. And I can tell that they broke some chains of slavery. And that makes life impossible to the imperialists because they can no longer control us. And because our wealth will come back to us and we will spend our money and make our life the way we want to make it. We do have wealth and resources everywhere in our 3 countries. And they know where we do have, and they know the value of it, and they calculate it for themselves and for their 4 children and the future generations. How many millions are we? We cannot feed ourselves because that's what they want us. They tell our leaders to keep us in famine and in hunger.
A story is told about a woman, a wise woman who saved her family. She saved her husband and she saved her servants. Also as well, she saved her land. She saved her property. This woman goes by the name Abigail. Abigail was a wise woman who was married to a foolish man. You know, one day some chaos erupted and her husband, rather someone who was foolish, insulted the king. She insulted King David, and now David was very angry, and he was heading very fast to go and kill her husband and her entire household. Now this woman was very wise, and she prepared nice food, and she went very fast before the king reached her place. She went there and she apologized on behalf of her husband. She said that her husband was foolish and that everything her husband did was out of ignorance. Today we still have such women who will protect their community, such women who will protect their husbands, such women who will go to an extent of protecting their own countries. Yes, history has been told. We've seen how much women have destroyed communities, how much women have caused civil wars, how much women have caused battles. Yeah, for example, is Helen of Troy. Helen of Troy is the one who brought the Trojan War. If you are someone who likes history, you must know that the Trojan War was one of the best tactical wars that were ever fought, and it was all because of a woman. I believe the woman, even though she was so much beautiful, she was foolish. A good woman will prevent catastrophes. A good woman will prevent disasters. And today, I present for you another Abigail of this time. I present to you a woman from the country of Niger. This woman gave an important speech, and I believe that every woman, I believe every man, and every child needs to understand the role of geopolitics. They need to understand the role of how politics operates. You know, sometimes we shy away from teaching our children things. We shy away from discussing certain topics in the house. It becomes like a taboo. But these topics we are afraid of discussing are the very topics that are affecting us and our societies and our community. At the basic level, it affects our families. Now, this woman, I don't know what her name is, but she gave an important speech, and she was speaking about the French influence in our own country, Niger. You know, Niger is a country which is French-speaking. It was colonized by France. Yeah, Niger is one of those countries among the 3 countries that pushed out France, and Niger is also among those countries that left Ecowas. You know, this woman gave a beautiful speech, and I believe that we need to listen to this speech, get to see what she has to say, and then I shall share with you my thoughts by the end of the video, where we shall also have a deep, critical analysis. Let's dive in.
As it was signed in Berlin, today the Alliance of the Sahel is alive. And we have many people who left their countries and came in Niger because of this cause, because something is done in Niger and they hear about it. So this struggle was done through youth and the women. Through the youth, I mean through the women, because the women are in the center of humanity. And the women worked for the struggle and they succeeded. And today we created the Alliance of the Sahel. When they created the union, there wasn't any problem. But our alliance, our alliance is not well seen by the enemies. And as the ring, you have the ring in a marriage. The ring is the symbol for marriage. And today we have the alliance of the Sahel countries that are not that our enemies do not like. And they colonized us, yes, by using force. And today they are facing another generation of people who refuse slavery, who refuse to be obedient to their orders. What we call our organization, the M62 in French, was created in October because people were massacred, killed in a Terra region of Niger, and because we know that Niger belongs to Niger people, we do not forget. The first time we had the France army in Niger, but unfortunately French did not help Niger in return. We do have Italian army forces in Niger, we do have a US army in Niger. And we in Niger, we have different ethnic groups, but we are one because we belong to the same culture and tradition. And they take things from us and bring them back to us to divide us. They shape new identities, new cultures. and use them against us. And that will not work. We have warriors in Niger. We have warriors in the continent. And today, if I can see old people, seniors with us, that means we still are lucky to have seniors with us. They will share good moments, knowledge with us, experience with us, and help us to grow up on the good way. And we are just at the start of the struggle. It's not the end of the struggle. And the air that they breathe is the same air that we breathe too. And today we speak the same language. This is the language of the former colonizers. And we have NATO, and we knew that the independence were given to us as a gift. I mean, some countries in Africa. But the appeal that I want to make right now is to tell you we can be in unity when we stand. So we are strong in unity, because those terrorists that kill us today, they are equipped and skilled by people we know and people who think that they are stronger than us, because they want to kill us. They want to make terror in our countries. We have professors, we have people with knowledge in Niger and in Africa, whereas we do have some illiterate people, people who never go to school, how to manipulate technology. So who trained them? So we know now who is training them. These people are called imperialists, and we consider them as the black imperialists. And we sleep together, we eat together with those bad guys. And please come back on the reality. So when they come in our countries, we call them expatriates. But when we go to their countries, we are called immigrants. So the same borders and the same documents they do have to come in our countries, we do have the same. And if we go in their countries, we are given bad jobs. We said no to that injustice, and we want to be treated as human beings. That's it. And we are ready to pay huge price. Even if that will cost our life, we are ready to pay our life for this cause. And we are ready. And the struggle will continue. And let's remind you that in unity we stand, and in division we fail. So, and we can see them doing many actions. We understand what they are doing. They try everything they can do against us. Whatever they can do, they are doing it against us. And we will never change. We stay strong and fight against them. But unfortunately, they find bad guys among us, among our people, who are ready to sell our countries and work for those people down on our enemies. And whatever Secretary said to us today, we understand that is true. Today I want to share the example of the former president of Burkina Faso called Blaise Compaoré, who ruled Burkina Faso for 24 days. He tried to have a medical visa treated in France, but they denied that visa to him, whereas he stayed on power because of France's blessings. But today, unfortunately for him, they do not accept him in their country. So that means they calculated everything. They make the plans of everything in advance. And today, if Niger said, okay, I want to take my destiny by my own, they say they will bombard Niger and assault Niger. So where is the African Union, the real Ecowas, who wanted to help us? But they are there all when France wanted to bombard us. because they know that it's worth it.
On vous tape les billets, on amène, on donne aux terroristes, on donne aux dirigeants. Nous, on continue à nous maintenir dans la faim, dans la précarité, nous dire qu'on est
they want to keep us in slavery and extreme poverty. Why do they do this? They are not in their countries, they are in our countries, and we want our countries to be ours. They finance the wars everywhere in Africa, and they don't want us to farm, they don't want us to do agriculture. We are not poor, but they put in our minds that we are poor. You are the poor, and we kick you outside, and we will never get you back in our countries. There is no other choice. Down on our enemies, down on our enemies, down on our enemies. The path that our leaders of the Sahel Alliance are undertaking is the placing path. And this is for the survival of our countries, because the bad democracy that they installed in our countries for 30 years, this is fake. There is nothing good. The children are being burned in the schools. We don't have drinkable water, we don't have energy, we don't have electricity. We do not have our own currency, whereas we do have gold reserves. We know that France have the 4th gold reserve in the world, but they do not have gold mine in their lands. Down on France and down on our enemies. Please let us be united. And we are ready for this struggle up to the last person, and our brothers, those who are next to us in the neighboring countries. We have democracy in many countries, and what do they have in return? They think about what are they having today. What do we live in? Our living conditions, the quality of our life. Many of us did not know Kunche and Jori Hamani, and when people speak, they say Kunche, Kunche. But I was surprised when I hear that. I am surprised, because even these current leaders should be blessed and thanked. You know why? Because they understand that we have approvals with the imperialists, but they denounce those approvals, and they denounce those approvals. And I can tell that they broke some chains of slavery, and that makes life impossible to the imperialists, because they can no longer control us, and because our wealth will come back to us, and we will spend our money and make our life the way we want to make it. We do have wealth and resources everywhere in our 3 countries, and they know where we do have, and they know the value of it, and they calculate it for themselves and for their 4 children and the future generations. How many millions are we? We cannot feed ourselves, because that's what they want us. They tell our leaders to keep us in famine and in hunger, because they know if you have a degree in Africa, it's not good. You should have a degree from their countries, from Europe. What can they do we cannot do today? Nothing, right? So all our resources, they take them from us and they sell them on the international markets, and they give us some small funds. And even these small funds that they give us, they are not happy to give us that. And that's why I can tell you that, to confirm you, the alliance of the Sahel countries is not welcome by our enemies. We are not against their people, but we are against the people who want to keep us as slaves. Many people think that today we do have problems with Benin. No, we do not have a problem with Benin people. But we do have a problem with the president of Benin. But that himself is just doing this game because of the imperialists. This is to save his own position. But he forgot about the people who voted him on power. And France is giving orders to our neighbors to attack Niger. The people who lead us today are from Niger, and Niger people approve them. What's wrong with others? What's wrong with others? Do Niger people get out and say no to the militaries? We said we love them and leave us in peace. They misunderstood this because it is the alternatives. We choose to approve our militaries. If you want to work with us, come and work with us clearly, and we discuss. If it's good for us, we accept. If it's not good for us, we look for other partners. And you too, you look for another partner. That's it. It's a question of state to state. We buy the weapons and whatever we want from whoever we desire. That's it. It's not subcontracting. All these things, my dear brothers and sisters, the imperialists do not want to see it. Dear brothers and sisters, we start the struggle, but we are not at the end. They are at the gate. They are at the gate just next to us. Continue the project. Continue having our eyes open. Continue protecting and surveying. And when they come, they'll not come the way they used to come in the past. Because the people of the Sahel Alliance have never seen on this earth even a slight way to bring product to Niger. They refused that to us. They denied it to us. They put us under embargo. And Niger had the worst embargo ever on the earth. And even in Gaza, they do not have this embargo because they do have some paths to bring food to Gaza people. And we have enough. We have enough. And I can tell you that all these obstacles, we don't need them. When I want to go to Guinea and everywhere in Africa, I want to go through my movement freely. And we want that this alliance will not limit in the 3 countries, and tomorrow or other countries. We want the Sahel Alliance to go, to expand, and we are ready to go to the United Nations because we have this right. And to keep our leaders in jail, they created international courts, and those African leaders, they want and accepted African countries to be Libya to be bombarded. But now Gbagbo is saying the truth, and even France accept that Gbagbo won the elections at that time, and just they made him out of power because they want to have hands on Cote d'Ivoire resources, and to keep us in jails, they create the World Fund, and we say no to all these activities. But I can tell you that we should be ready, and we should be able to know what is good for us. We cannot make war in your land if you do not have somebody from you who help your enemies. And they stop sleeping. Let's have some let's open our eyes, and please let's thank the youth. And as I told you at the beginning, we have seniors with us, and they inherit things, and they are ready to transmit it to us. And they know us, and they fought many years, and today they know that the youth and people want to have easy gain.
Now, after carefully listening to what the sister from Niger has to say, I can tell you this. Many people in Africa are afraid of speaking about the things and the vices happening around them. You know, there are two kinds of evil. There's someone who watches evil and they decide to keep quiet with it. And then we have someone else who watches evil and they act on it. You know, they might participate in the evil. And that person who participates in the evil is equivalent to that person who does the evil itself. This is a principle of justice. If you see evil, act or talk. That is how it should be. With this woman, listening to her speech, I could say that she was referring to the whole entire African community. She was not only solely based on Niger. Even though she's from Niger, she was speaking about Niger itself, Burkina Faso, Mali, and the entire Africa and the process of colonization. We as Africans, we know how much colonization has affected us. Colonization was as a result of the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference made the sister speak French and made me speak English. In Africa, a long time ago, we used to speak one language, the Bantu language, the Nilotic language, the Kushite language, because we have three subgroups. But when the white man came, he brought division among us. He brought sometimes I feel like I've said and I've said and I've said there is no amount of evil that can match what has been done to the Africans. Now, after the Sahel state, after those countries in the Sahel, the countries in the Sahara came together, we had Ecowas as a trading bloc in that region. Ecowas put sanctions on Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso for overtaking their governments. But these people did not just take any government. This was just not any coup like the coups we see in West Africa. West Africa is bedridden. West Africa is a bedrock, is infested with, overthrowing of governments. But this one, these leaders are representatives of the people. These leaders are representative of the Africans. Those presidents that were elected were representative of the French. Those presidents who were elected, like the one the sister told us, the former president of Burkina Faso, when he was the president, he got favors from the French. Now, after he left the presidency, he is so sick, and now he wants to go to France and get medication. He was denied visa. A president was denied visa, a former president. Somebody who used to be a friend to France. What does that tell us as Africans? It tells us that we are being used to mistreat Africans and to squander our resources. But once our purpose diminishes, once our role is over, we are not taken as people who are equals now. We are not taken as partners. We are taken as substandard. Because if you are sick, normally people will be given visa. But this person is just not any other person. This is a former president. And we have a type of constitution that protects former presidents. They are given some benefits. Even though they have retired, they are given some benefits. What happens? What does this tell you? French best interest is not for Africans. French best interest is in what Africans can offer them. Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso came forward and they decided to air their voices. They decided to speak out. And they uprooted these puppets. Come to think of it, why is it that these three countries are now making good stances? Why are they making good steps in the future and right now also? And those presidents people of the ECOWAS is saying that its military-ruled countries of Mali and Niger and Burkina Faso will fail. But these leaders are making progress. We can see growth in Burkina Faso, can't we? We can see changes in Niger. We can see changes in Mali. Why is it that these presidents, who the ECOWAS member state, are saying that? Why is it that ECOWAS presidents that the ECOWAS confirms don't do something which is visible? Why? They've been presidents for so long. They've been president longer than these people have been in power. Sometimes when the rat is chased so hard, by the cat and it reaches a dead end, it turns against the cat. And it can even kill the cat. Yeah. There's a very a special chemical reaction that takes place when the rat hits a dead end, because it knows it either dies or it does not die. It either fight or get killed. And this is the situation with Africans. I'm happy that women are coming front and are speaking for their countries. Instead of those women who are always like makeups, hair, how much men they have slept with. No, we don't need those women. We need women who can speak for the state. We need women who can speak for the voices of the unheard. Such women are very important when we have as leaders. You know, Africa is rich, the woman said, but these people are making Africa poor. They are poor themselves, but then they paint that poverty on us. The woman said, we are not poor Africans. You are the ones who are poor. You come to our country and you squander our resources. Oh my, this lady just gave them the hottest slap. You know? What else can Africans ask for if not for unity? After Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso were kicked out of Ecowas, what happened? They were left like orphaned children. The whole world was laughing at them. But then, in the midst of the chaos, they found peace. They found this peace by creating the AES. The AES is an organization that protects them and shields them. Now other countries want to join them, which is good. And let me tell you this, the AES will one day shake ECOWAS and it will break it one day. You know, don't despise humble beginning. Junior steps, those baby steps are what amount to giant steps. We shouldn't despise them. And I really love what this woman is saying. If women could speak this way, not only for themselves, but for the interest of the countries they represent. How much has corruption engulfed African countries? How much? How much has these countries taken so much from us Africans? How much has this, you know, sometimes it's not just about creating videos. Sometimes we connect too much. There is an emotion turbulence we get from creating such content. Let me tell you, we take in so much. In Kenya, corrupt leaders, corrupt leaders, they drive big cars. They give the impression that once they are in power, it's all about them. It's not about the normal African. Look at Ibrahim Traore. He doesn't have those big cars. He's traveling in a military convoy, which was already bought. He slashed his salary. He pays his people well. He's providing education, electricity, water. But what are some African leaders doing outside here? They are busy squandering and taking that money to the offshore accounts for their children and grandchildren. They are taking state funds, making it their own. Africans need to learn, and Africans need to learn from this specific lady from Niger. Yeah. This is EFK Original Documentaries. If you love what I do, kindly support me on Patreon. I shall surely appreciate for your support. See you in the next video.